Okay, here's where we're at. This is number 2 in the project of building a stool. And we've got the 2 sections glued up that we were cutting out before. And we've glued them with ordinary yellow carpenter's glue, wood-based glue. The glue joint, we get it so tight and there's such a little bit of glue used, and the joint is held together with such pressure that actually it becomes stronger than the surrounding wood, and we don't have to use biscuits. Maybe you don't know what biscuits are, but what they are is they're tiny little biscuits that are basically embedded into the wood a lot of times on joints to reinforce a joint. It's not needed on this joint because this joint is the glue is so minimal on this joint. It's not needed. So that's where we're at with this right now, is we got these glued together and we got a fire on, and the fire's blowing the heat. You can see, I'll try to get it down here. The fire is blowing heat up on this, so we're kind of rushing it. We're rushing the glue joint to dry quick with the heat. And I'll get around here for a better view of this. Here we go. There's the heat coming up and hitting the glue joint from the stove. And that's going to kind of rush it and get the glue warm. And it's a water-based glue. The glue will dry quicker. Now we're coming over here for what we're doing, because I want to get this project done tonight. I want to get this stool done, and so I'm rushing the glue a little bit. Now over here, what we're doing is we're getting the legs ready to be turned. We've already cut those 4 pieces out on the bandsaw of that other log that I showed you. That's my stool I always use for working on the lathe. I built this years and years ago. I put it together for just this purpose, and I find it very good for that. So what we'll do is get on to cutting these out. First thing to do is we need to tap in tap the chuck in, so we can mount each one of these on the lathe to turn the legs. 4 legs to turn out of the 4 pieces. 4 pieces that we've cut. From that log. That's what you want to do every time when you're working with a lathe. You, while you're setting up, getting ready, you want to spin the, okay, you set it up, you got it ready. What you want to do is you want to spin the piece of wood first to make sure it clears. Because see, if this was in too close, like this, and it was going to hit like that, see where that hits? And I were to flick the lathe on, the lathe would spin around and that would catch. Not a good thing. So the best thing to do is just to check. Spin it first. Give it a check, make sure the whole thing clears before you start your lathe. Snub up. You don't want that happening. So I'm going to rough these legs out on the lathe, 1 to a time. In the next segment, I'm not going to make you sit here all the way through while I rough each one of these out, because this is going to take a little while. I'm going to put that into the next segment, them all done and roughed out to the shape that I want. I might film myself roughing one out if I have time. Let's see, I get 15 minutes on this. What's the next stage we have to move on to is turning the seat. So yeah, I think I'll rough out one of these legs to approximately what I'm looking for. And maybe we'll get started on that. I just went and got a couple tools. The tools I got is one is a caliper, the size I need. I got a pair of goggles. I always use those on the lathe. Tape measure to know the length that I want them of the chair leg or the stool leg. Let's see, this milk stool, the legs are 11 inches. So I think I'm going to go with 13 inches here. Let me see if we got adequate 13 inches. Yeah, it's pushing it. We can get 13 inches out of this. So yeah, okay, we're going to go with 13 inches. And we're going to cut 1.25 inches where they go in to the seat. It's going to be 1.25 inches. And we're going to use a 1.25 inch drill bit to drill a hole into the seat that mounts the leg, and we're going to make sure that the caliper here, when we measure, is exactly 1.25 inches for the go into the seat. So let's get started turning this. Notice I have my sleeves. Always do that. Now, we have to brace that bit in a little bit tighter. And we'll do that. I see what happened. It caught a knot. The upward angle of this piece of wood. Go very slow first. Go up there a little bit round. See, around that knot. It's catching the chisel around that knot. Because of the awkward shape. It's very out around. It'll start to get a little bit better. Just work with it slowly. I'll be able to apply more pressure to it. Let's see what we're up to on time here. 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Evidently, I can't run over 15 minutes. You see, I roughed out around here on this now. Down to this end, rough it out round as well. 14:05. Okay, we're running 14 minutes. I'm going to end this. But basically what I do is right here, I come down and I start to cut this down. And I take my caliper and I come in here and I keep testing with the caliper until I get it 1.25 inches right here where it's going to enter the stool leg. What I do is then I measure my 13 inches here in the stock, and I put whatever designs I'm going to put on the leg, and then I take and move over to start another one of these legs. I keep doing it until I do all 4, and these are going to be the stool legs. So that's the end of this segment.